Hello everyone, my name is Michael. A lot of people on YouTube know me by my username AgentOfDoubt, and this is my video for Honest John's Fair Share campaign. Last year I made $45,000 in taxable income, and I paid more in taxes than any church in America. I find this appalling and unconstitutional, because the first words in the Bill of Rights say, Congress shall make no law respecting an establishment of religion. But churches aren't accountable to the IRS. The IRS can't come audit a church. There's no taxes that come from churches. If that's not respecting an establishment as being different from everyone else, I don't know what is. Churches aren't open for public scrutiny in the same way that any other taxable or non-profit, non-taxable organization would be. In fact, the 990 form that normally a non-profit organization would have to fill out, itemizing all their expenses and saying where they put their money, that form is routinely waived by the IRS for churches, thereby establishing them as being different from all the other non-profit organizations. And something that a lot of people don't realize about this clause about churches being non-taxed: churches own property that they get revenue from, like pay parking lots in some states. They own hotels in some states. They own stock in corporations. They own kosher farms where goats are slaughtered in a kosher way, but the whole business is tax-free because it's somehow related to a religion. There are bakeries that make communion wafers and sell them to other churches of many different denominations, and yet the bakery is still tax-free. That's wrong. It's a business. It should not be any different than any other business. To top it all off, there are some religions that are taxed, because the U.S. government gets to decide which religions are legitimate and which aren't. New Age religions do get taxed. People selling crystals, making little pewter sculptures for necklaces for religions that are really not defined. Those salespeople are taxed. Those businesses are taxed. All these mystical shops. But churches, no, they don't get taxed, because they're more legitimate in the eyes of the government. Here's a big problem that I have with churches not being taxed. My money as an atheist goes to supporting churches when they need public resources. Every time the police are called out to a church because rocks were thrown at a window by little kids, every time a church catches fire and the fire department has to come out to save the church, it's not the church that has tax money that's going to pay for that. It's me, a citizen who is not involved in the church in any way. And here's a different side to it. Money from women are taken in their taxes, because women get taxed just the same as men if they're not religious, if they're not in religious employ. But a lot of churches have positions that only men can hold. How is that right that they are tax-free and tax-exempt when every other non-profit organization, if it had a rule that only men could hold some position, that they discriminated on the basis of sex, if they had that rule in any other organization, they would have their non-profit status stripped from them? And yet, money from women in the general population is taken from them in taxes, and then it turns into a subsidy for a church. This is wrong. Churches need to pay their fair share.